Good afternoon, members of the Facebook group Fierce Leader. Let's put this. So it's been a couple days, you're gonna get 2 videos at once. Today, I really wanted to share, I had some reflection about emotions, feelings, and particularly anger. And I feel it's something important to dive deeper into because many emotions lead to anger. And when we deal with conflict, usually we deal with anger at a level or another. So during my contemplation about anger, what I realized is that very, very few people, I personally maybe know only one, that can manage anger in a balanced way, I would say in a safe way. When you observe around you people managing anger, what you're usually gonna see is aggressivity. And aggressivity is a form of expression that is actually not the safe way to express anger, even if it can be useful in certain situations, it can be useful in some context, to protect yourself, to protect others, to intimidate. However, in the modern society where we actually have a very low level of immediate life or death threat, we tend to express aggressivity, but then we actually express aggressivity because we don't know how to express it otherwise. But how do we come to be expressing aggressivity is a question. So, going back to anger, the roots of it. Basically, we grow up as a child, as a young one, we grow up by understanding that being angry at people doesn't help to be integrated in society. It doesn't help to build relationship, to build connection with people. So we're being forbidden to be angry many times, because when we get angry, like a 2-year-old child is gonna throw a tantrum, then we get punished. So it's not that the punishment from throwing a tantrum is a bad thing to do. Is that at any age it has to be adapted and adjusted. And so the thing is, our brain kind of encodes, well, if I get angry right now, then I'm being punished and I'm being isolated. People won't connect with me, won't like me. So we kind of imprint that code when we're very, very young, but we never really adjust that coding that we got. And so what happens is that year after year, we keep the same pattern that if we show we're angry, if we express we're angry, then we're actually not gonna be liked, we're gonna be isolated, we're gonna be rejected. So we encode the belief that showing we're angry equal bad. And this because when we're 2 years old, we just don't know how to express it in a safe way, and so we just throw the tantrum. And so of course nobody wants to have a tantrum. And so what I feel is sometimes some adults express anger in a way, in a very aggressive and violent way, but I perceive it as a 2-year-old tantrum done by an adult. Because a 2-year-old child doesn't know how to express intense anger safely, how to process it, and so encoding that belief that anger equal bad, I can't express it because otherwise XYZ consequences, then growing up as an adult, we have the same pattern. So the subtleties that is important to do is when we talk about high emotion, and as anger can be very intense, the intensity varies. The reason why it can be very intense is that anger is a primary reaction to an immediate threat, to a perceived threat. And so you call on the reptilian part of the brain that is going to send out the most immediate reaction, and the intensity comes with it. So what happens is, in the subtleties I was saying, is that we need to learn to adapt and adjust. Any age we can express it differently. And when we are in an adulthood, what we need to do is to be aware, and I would say even hyper aware and conscious about the way we behave and the way we express certain emotions we feel. Are they safe for us and for others? Are they respectful? How do we process high emotion, intense emotions? And there is a way to express them safely, because anger in itself is nor bad and nor good. It's a bodily response to a threat that you perceive. So the adjustment that we don't necessarily learn is to express the feeling of anger in a safe way, and then to process it, to not let it stay in the body. So I very much believe that any repressed emotion expresses itself sooner or later as a physical symptom, physiological response to something. So when you get that anger stuck in you, and you having that internal conflict, I can't express it because, well, it's not good. People don't show they're angry. Like, it's not something that society accepts. It's not something people do. It's just not something people do. So you have that tension creating in you, that you want to express something, a frustration or a disappointment or something, but then you keep it for you because, well, it's not nice, or maybe it's gonna look weird, maybe it's gonna look bad, maybe it's gonna reflect something, and you don't want them to feel bad, and so you keep it for yourself. You don't want to make a scene, you don't want to make a problem, and so you keep it for yourself, and then your emotion compounds over time up to anger eventually, and grows and grows and grows. So expressing anger starts just by the simple fact to say the words, I feel angry. And that doesn't need to have like a very high pitched tone of voice, doesn't need to be very loud, it doesn't need to be like that. But if you need to let someone know how you feel, then you just say it. Right now, I really feel very, 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 very angry. I need the space. Here is boundary setting super essential, where you're gonna see if people respect your boundary or not. Because this is the first step to express it. If they don't respect it, then you insist, and it's when the voice gets louder. If they don't respect it, you insist, and when it's your body starts to act. But healthy relationships are supposed to respect boundaries from each other. And so expressing it without having a loud voice or being aggressive or having violent gesture is supposed to be enough. If not, that means that you need to work on your boundaries all over again with that specific person. And that means working on boundaries with someone. That means having a real discussion, adult to adult, to explain what your boundaries is if you want to have a peaceful relationship together. So expressing anger is the first step. Then processing it is another step, and very safe way to process it. However, what we also learn is we're punished because we feel angry, we throw a tantrum as a child, fine, we're punished, go in the bedroom, no dinner for tonight. But then we're in the bedroom, what do? The anger is still here, we still need to do something. Sometimes the need to be in action when we feel angry is a very physiological need due to the cortisol, the adrenaline, all the hormones that are normally instant response when we perceive a threat somewhere. We need to run, we need to fight because we need to defend ourselves, and so we're gonna have those hormones that prepare the body to do something. So when we isolate ourselves because we need to create the space, fine, but then we need also to process with a body movement. Either it's gonna go for a run, or hit on a punching ball, or go on elliptical, or go for a sprint, or whatever, or do push-ups and pull-ups and all the things. But you need to get that out of the body. So that's a quick thing about anger I wanted to really emphasize, because we perceive anger as really bad. And many people are afraid not just of people being angry around them, but of their own intense anger they may sometimes feel. And so they forbid themselves to feel it, and they repress it. But repressing it doesn't help. And so we need to be able to express it, like liberate the voice here a little bit, like shake a little bit, and then express it, and then we can process it. So just a quick note about anger. The newsletter for September is gonna come soon, early September, so be attuned. And in the meantime, I hope all is fine for you, and I wish you a good day. See you later. Talk to you soon. Bye.